Israel killed 2 journalists yesterday. One of them is someone who I frequently talk to get updates. He was a contributor to Al Jazeera. I've talked about him before. His name is Hossam Shabat. He was 23 years old. Israel had put him on a leaflet claiming that he was a terrorist alongside 5 other journalists a couple months prior, which was a death sentence. And I reached out to him at the time when I saw that. And, he did not seem discouraged. He was steadfast. And till the very last breath, he was trying to put the word out about what was happening to his people, what was happening to the Palestinians. Dylan Saba had a really good statement on this, and I want to read it. He said, Hossam was 23 years old. At age 7, he saw Israel's ground invasion of Gaza that killed 1,400 Palestinians. At age 10, a major air assault. At age 11, another ground invasion that killed 2,200. At age 19, another massive bombing campaign. And at age 22, the start of this Holocaust. He faced a genocide his entire life as the world conspired to forget and erase his existence and those of his people. We will never erase the moral stain of this horror. Israel is deliberately targeting the last couple of journalists that are basically alive in Gaza at this point. One of his last messages that he ever posted was actually about his colleague that Israel had assassinated a couple moments prior, like an hour prior to his own assassination. These are real human beings. They have dreams. Hossam himself became a journalist. This is a person who should have gone to college, should have lived a whole life, and it was taken from him. That opportunity was taken from him by the genocidal apartheid regime that only gets to do this with our weapons, with our tax dollars, with our funds, and with our go-ahead. I don't know what else to say. Here's his final statement from his team. He wrote this, and his team published it. This is Hossam's team, and we're sharing his final message. If you're reading this, it means I have been killed, most likely targeted by the Israeli occupation forces. When all this began, I was only 21 years old, a college student with dreams like anyone else. For the past 18 months, I have dedicated every moment of my life to my people. I documented the horrors in northern Gaza minute by minute, determined to show the world the truth they tried to bury. I slept on pavements, in schools, in tents, anywhere I could. Each day was a battle for survival. I endured hunger for months. Yet I never left my people's side. By God, I fulfilled my duty as a journalist. I risked everything to report the truth, and now I am finally at rest, something I haven't known in the past 18 months. I did all this because I believe in the Palestinian cause. I believe this land is ours, and it has been the highest honor of my life to die defending it and serving its people. I ask you now, do not stop speaking about Gaza. Do not let the world look away. Keep fighting, keep telling our stories until Palestine is free. For the last time, Hossam Shabat from northern Gaza. He was one of the few remaining journalists in northern Gaza as Israel shut off the Netzarim corridor and decided to starve out the northern Gazan population leading up to the ceasefire. He was one of the only people who was able to give others information on the accelerated genocide that was taking place in northern Gaza. I was supposed to bring him on the broadcast, and I had legitimate worries that having him on the broadcast would put even additional crosshairs on him. And I didn't want to, have any responsibility for that. And Israel went ahead and killed him anyway. It's just insane to think about that. It's insane that this is a calculation that people make. He also was a contributor to Dropsite News alongside Al Jazeera as well. Rest in power, Hossam Shabat. I'm glad that at least he's now finally found peace. On the other hand, I do want to show you something more positive. If you want to understand the impact of someone like him, I just want to show you this. Here's Hossam in his car, in his press vest, talking to a Gazan kid. She says, I swear I missed you. They said that you were martyred. Why? You mean why? When the occupation entered the north. We were about to mourn you, man. I swear. Was it that bad? We missed you. What do you believe in? He asks, and she says that there's no God but Allah. I swear to God that I came down to see you. I swear by Almighty God that I came down to see you. So you missed us. I swear I missed you all. You're a real champ. So then Hossam asks, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she says, a journalist. And I was thinking, how am I supposed to become a journalist now if Hossam Shabat were martyred? How am I supposed to become a journalist then? Why martyred? Why martyred then? No, may God keep you safe. But how am I supposed to become a journalist then? He said, we'll make you into a journalist, inshallah. Why is this still going on? Why can't you Americans protest nonstop? We do. Just like the Turks are protesting nonstop against Erdogan, just like the Serbs are protesting against their government, Americans are protesting against the American government as well. We are entering a new era in which our cries, our words are not that consequential. I still won't stop. And I don't think that this can continue. I don't think that this can go on. I don't think that this kind of death, this kind of carnage can continue without real consequences for those who dish it out. And while we're having these conversations, while I'm showing you this, there are active initiatives to obviously suppress any kind of student activism. And it's actually seen a lot of success in the United States of America. As you know, I covered the fact that Columbia University completely capitulated after trying to actively suppress the student movements that were trying to divest from the state that's doing this. A perfectly reasonable and moral demand. The bare minimum demand, really. They fired and took away the diplomas of Jewish students like Grant Minor, who was the head of the student union, like the Student Workers Union, a UAW student union there, teachers union, student union there. And they kidnapped Mahmoud Khalil in the dead of the night, a legal permanent resident. And it's not going to end there because this issue is so glaringly obvious and so unimaginably cruel. If they can't stop the public from seeing the reality through censorship, they're going to continue trying to suppress speech to the best of their ability. I'll keep using the limited time I have on this earth to bring awareness to the horrors that all oppressed people experience, because I think ultimately everyone should be doing any amount of privilege you have, you should use towards this goal. Israel bombed a hospital yesterday and then said there was a Hamas politician that was getting treatment there. They bombed the hospital. They killed a bunch of patients. Israel blew up the last cancer ward in Gaza, which was not an action, the Turkish Friendship Hospital in Gaza. It was actually incapacitated prior. The reason why it was not an action prior is because Israel had militarily occupied the Turkish Friendship Hospital, the only cancer ward in Gaza. All of these things that Israel does with regular frequency are war crimes. They're acts of terror. They're war crimes. It's genocide. And Israel does it every day. More than 700 people Israel has killed in the past couple of days since it threw the ceasefire away. Yeah. The Turkish hospital that they blew up, they did a controlled demolition on it, as in they used it as a military base, and then they placed explosives all around the cancer ward, the only cancer ward in Gaza that could have been operational, but it wasn't because Israel was using it as a military base, and then they did a controlled demolition. That was in Gaza. Now let's move to the West Bank. Yuval Abraham of Plus 972 magazine, who was the co-director of No Other Land, revealed that a group of settlers just lynched Hamdan Bilal, who was sitting right here only a couple weeks ago, as you remember, as they were in Los Angeles because they were nominated for an Oscar for No Other Land. Settlers lynched him, they beat him, and he had injuries to his head and stomach, and he was bleeding. Soldiers invaded the ambulance he called and took him. No sign of him since. He won an Oscar. These are not little accidents here and there. This is a deliberate effort to dehumanize and exterminate an entire population of indigenous people. Okay? Anyone who presents this to you as like, oh, well, every army has like some crazy people that get out of hand or whatever is lying to you. Either they are the stupidest people on the planet, or they're deliberately lying to you at the behest of Israel, the state that's doing this. Straight up Nazi. All the while, the American government is desperately trying to do everything it can to stop you from, one, seeing this truth, by actively suppressing those who speak out against it, both on the political front and also on the platform side. They're going to go after social media platforms. It's not enough that they did this to Columbia. Felix Biederman responds to Christopher Rufo of Manhattan Institute. Columbia is folding and the other universities will follow suit. They must restore the pursuit of truth rather than ideological activism as their highest mission. To earn continued public funding, they must advance the public good. This is only the beginning. To which Felix responds, I like that we're using federal resources to browbeat college students into making loyalty oaths to Israel, but we could be going further. What if you read the names of Jewish students who complained about feeling unsafe or inconceived every day on the White House lawn? This is the guy who was a cancel culture free speech warrior, by the way. Interesting how these people never actually cared about cancel culture or free speech. This is what I kept saying over and over again. These people used it as a propaganda. Are you not scared for your own safety? I would imagine that you are considered an enemy to them. First of all, yes, I am an enemy to them. Okay? I am an enemy to those who are pro-Israel. I am. I understand that. It's not going to, one, stop me from advocating, and two, I don't like having this conversation centered around me in general because my situation is infinitely better. Like, it's not even comparable. You're behaving like children in general. It's not remotely comparable to the conditions that they face. I have an endless amount of privilege, and I try to use it to the best of my ability to speak out for those who have no voice. And you do too, chatters. Remember that. If you're an American citizen, if you're Jewish, like, there are extra privileges that you have. If you are an anti-Zionist Jew, you need to be at the forefront of these protests. If you're an American citizen, you need to be at the forefront of these protests. We all have to play a role.